round continues, Boom.
Well, first round, we're only six. We haven't even had the sixth pick yet. My goodness, this is buckle your seatbelts advertising. Now, we have Ed Werder in Dallas. We'll go to him very shortly. So all of a sudden, the Dallas Cowboys, a team that, well, in the NFC East a year ago, 9-7 won it with the Giants. So here are the Cowboys, the team that could have won it, yet they blew double-digit leads repeatedly last season and fell back and could not get it done. They've made changes. One of the guys who was, you suggest it's Claiborne. You know, Newman is gone. He's moved on. So the Dallas Cowboys also making a statement here in round number one. So all that draft list that you have at home of the order that, you know, maybe in the paper this morning you had, and okay, who's picking fourth and fifth, it's throw it out. Because apparently that's old news.
St. Louis has traded the sixth pick to Dallas. With the sixth pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Morris Claiborne, defensive back, LSU.
So the Dallas Cowboys, 8-8 a year ago, the Cowboys start to rebuild the back part of their defense that, as we said, blew some double-digit leads, and they went 1-4 down the stretch after a 7-4 start to finish 8-8.
Out of Brandon Carr. You bring him in free agency from the Kansas City Chiefs. That helps you at the one cornerback spot. You have Mike Jenkins, who's been up and down. Now all of a sudden you get Morris Claiborne, a cornerback that is going to be expected in coverage to be Darrelle Revis-like. Will he? We'll see. But I can tell you what, last 10 to 12 years, best ball skills I've ever seen in a cornerback. He's like a wide receiver out there. Great anticipation, great awareness, tremendous hands. This kid gets a chance to get the turnover. He'll take advantage of it. He has kick return ability. So you talk about after the interception, he can make you pay as well. Tackling-wise, we talked about a little inconsistency there, but he is a roughed up, aggressive kid. He'll make some plays in that area as well. But what he's going to get paid to do is cover, match up, lock down, and be like Revis. There's only one Darrelle Revis in this league. There's not two shutdown guys, there's just one. And in a pass-happy league, you add a Brandon Carr, now you get Claiborne opposite him with the Dallas Cowboys. All of a sudden, you got something. Now, he's not Patrick Peterson. He's not that special talent. Here he is returning a kickoff, doing a good job there. He's not electrifying, though. He's not special in that area like Patrick Peterson is. But as a pure corner, fundamentally, you could argue he's a little bit better than Patrick Peterson was coming out of LSU.
Look, 11 interceptions in 2 years, the Jim Thorpe Award winner. There are a couple concerns I have in Claiborne. But what a pickup for the Cowboys. In Rob Ryan's defense, we know they like to play pressure, pack fronts, and dogs and blitzes, and they love one-on-one coverage. Claiborne's a guy that can take your best receiver and shadow him across the field. But I would like to see him use his long arms more. He plays from recovery a lot. He carries his arms low. Watch him at the top of the screen. No reroute, no jam on these wide receivers. He needs to do a better job using those long arms as a weapon. And I want to see him become an elite tackler to be a great one in the NFL. He was selective in his tackling. He missed some tackles that I think he needs to be held accountable for. He's got to make these plays in the open field if you're playing one-on-one coverage. And I think Morris Claiborne can do it, but he has been inconsistent. When you're the unblocked corner in certain formations, you have to sift through the traffic and make these tackles. Those are the two things I'd like to see him do to become an elite corner. Use his hands more in press coverage and become a more sure tackler.
Well, they're excited in Dallas for sure, and to prove that, we have a Bud Light team report now with our Ed Werder at the Cowboys headquarters. Ed, good evening.
Hey, Boomer, you know, something about this pick. I was told by one Cowboys coach who said, you know what, the best way to make Tony Romo a better quarterback is to fix our problems on defense, and that's what this move is really all about. First day of free agency, they spent $50 million to get Kansas City cornerback Brandon Carr, and now they add Claiborne. They still have former first-round pick Mike Jenkins, who's in the final year of his contract, so this ensures stability at a key position in Rob Ryan's defense for years to come, and it's a classic, Boomer. Jerry Jones move. Only 6 times in his 24 years of running the Cowboys draft has he failed to make a trade involving his first-round pick.
Yep, so the Dallas Cowboys figuring, hey, look, we can't put up with this anymore. We got the big entertainment house. We got the players walking through the fans. We got all sorts. We had Tony Romo. I mean, and that's a fair thing. People forget that. Tony Romo threw for 4,000 yards. He was as good as he's ever been, probably better. You agree with that last year, Coach?
I do, and they also lost 4 games in the fourth quarter where they had a double-digit lead. That comes down to just making plays in the secondary, getting Carr, getting Claiborne. That's a big, big improvement.
And you got a draft. I mean, you still got a lot of rounds to go, and they got to get a safety. I think they're aware of that. You need another defensive lineman in that scheme. But overall, I think when you get a cornerback with that kind of ability, and you've added a Brandon Carr, who's a nice player for the Kansas City Chiefs, at least you've done a lot of things already, and we got, like I say, a lot of rounds to go in this draft.
So again, St. Louis, remember they moved back with the Redskins, I mean, a while ago. So St. Louis and Jeff Fisher, they're acquiring picks left and right. They get a 2 here from Dallas. And, of course, we'll hear from St. Louis a little bit later on at 1. So now, picking 7th is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that, well, you still live in Tampa, that you're certainly aware of. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like every other team in Florida, with a new head coach. Greg Schiano, who coached not far from Radio City Music Hall at Rutgers, comes over as the new head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucs. A team that'll have a Rondé Barber again for the next game he plays, I think, is number 200 in a row there at corner, which is unbelievable. But a Tampa Bay Buc team that lost after winning 10 games a year ago, went on a skid that didn't see them win a game to the middle of October. So they could use just about everything, and a whole new coaching staff they have.
Well, they particularly need help on defense. In a worst defensive performance in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers statistically. They need help at linebacker. Luke Kuechly from Boston College, maybe Mark Barron, this safety from Alabama, guy I really like. One of those 2 players could give the Buccaneers help where they desperately need it.
They went out and they got some guys in free agency to help out Josh Freeman on offense. You had a Vincent Jackson, you had a Carl Nix on the offensive line. Jackson, a wide receiver, averaged 17.2 yards a catch during his career. Nix allows them to move Jeremy Zuta inside to that center position. You think about defensively, though, they need Gerald McCoy to step it up at defensive tackle, John. He was supposed to be in the league with Ndamukong Suh. That hasn't happened. McCoy needs to step forward and be a dominant defensive tackle. And I agree with you. Mark Barron's a guy who's going to have a big impact in the NFL.
Well, they lost their last 10. They're outscored by 207 points. You mentioned they've spent some big bucks, as you point out. The big receiver Jackson, the guard Nix. They're hoping, and they need to sell tickets. I mean, that's another thing. Not every team sells out. And this is one, like a Jacksonville, that they need to spark some excitement. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers begin anew 10 seasons after someone won a Super Bowl with them. I don't really remember, but it was 2002. I don't really recall that, but you might. Here's what they're doing in 2012.
With the 7th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Mark Barron, defensive back, Alabama.
Well, you talk defense, and you talk about an enforcer at safety, right, John and Mel? A different sort of safety, one of those that, yeah, you can pass defend, but you better be careful when you run the ball between the tackles against him.
Yeah, this isn't Mark Barron. This is the Red Baron. This kid flies around and hits anything that wiggles. I love the way he comes down in the alley and can really break down and make difficult tackles. He can punish you. He can play linebacker in the box in their sub package. I've seen him lead the SEC in interceptions as a sophomore in 2009. 2-time captain of the national champions, so you know he has great leadership. Been developed under Nick Saban, So you see NFL defenses, NFL concepts and coverages in every film. But he has tremendous range, tremendous leadership, and he's got that size I like. He's one of those old-fashioned Denver Broncos safeties, Dennis Smith and Steve Atwater, that can do it all, and he's also a bonus on special teams. But Tampa Bay needed him, Mel. 28 runs. The Buccaneers